Hello and welcome. My name is Nicholas and this is Literally Graphic. And today I'm going to talk about a book with very little value beyond the fact that I read it as a kid and I wanted to reread them all in order and talk about it. Because I'm a completionist now. Namely Asterix the Gaul, with words by René Goscinny and art by Albert Uderzo, translated from French to English by Anthea Beale and Derek Hockridge. According to Wikipedia, René Goscinny was a comic editor and writer of Jewish-Polish descent who created the Asterix comic book series. He also worked on Lucky Luke, which I have not read at all, with Morris. He was born in Paris, France in 1926. His family moved to Buenos Aires, Argentina shortly thereafter. He lived in New York City for a time after the death of his father, but moved back to France and joined the French Army in order to avoid service in the United States Army. He died in 1977 in Paris, France. Despite some critiques of Asterix, it's nice to know that not all classic French-language comic creators turned out to be Nazi collaborators. I'm looking at you, Hergé. Looking up the artist Albert Uderzo, he was born in France to Italian immigrants in 1927 and is apparently still alive. Too young to fight Germany before the invasion, he met Goscinny after he returned to France, and the two apparently became very good friends, collaborating first on a much less timeless work called Un Papa, which was serialized in the French-Belgian comic magazine Tintin. It appears to include many of the same common stereotypes of the indigenous people of Turtle Island as the comic named Tintin and other comics by Hergé, and other works of the time period, and sometimes even now. If you are interested in own voice depiction of indigenous people of Turtle Island, check out my list on Goodreads, or just Google it. As I always mention, it's a really exciting and growing comics niche. Asterix, an apparent instant hit, was initially serialized in Pilot magazine starting in October of 1959 and has been running on and off by a couple different sets of people ever since. The first trade was initially published in 1961. While it appears in every following volume, I swear the description does change, and this isn't what it says on the back of every book. Anyway, to summarize, the year is 50 BC and all Gaul is occupied. Only one small village of indomitable Gauls still holds out against the invaders. But how much longer can Asterix, Obelix, and their friends resist the mighty Roman legions of Julius Caesar? Anything is possible with little cunning plus the druid Gatafix's magic potion. Their effects can be truly hair-raising. The number one reason I would recommend this book is that it is, in my opinion anyway, pretty funny. It is also pretty anti-authoritarian. This first volume at least could also possibly be considered anti-imperialistic and or anti-colonialist. Unfortunately, the way that race is depicted, and especially visually, can come across as pretty dated at times. All the characters in this first volume are 100% what most people these days would consider white, even if that's not historically accurate, although assuming that my brain is not completely failing me, racist caricatures of indigenous people of North America and of dark-skinned people are both employed later on. I'll certainly be looking into this further as I continue through the series. Unsurprisingly, gender and sexuality are not touched on in this series, at least so far, although the clash between the Romans and the Gauls certainly plays itself out in ways I see as representing class in the modern world, with most of the Romans being depicted as urban elites compared to the modest and rural Gaul. That's all she wrote. And by all, keep reading and resist fascism. And as always, I would like to acknowledge that for the most part, all of my videos are filmed and produced on the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit, an Anishinaabe people, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the Huron-Wendat Nation, land covered by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant.